Dragons appear in stories all over the world. The strange part is, the people telling those stories were separated by oceans. Europe had enormous reptilian monsters. China had dragons ruling rivers and skies. Ancient Mesopotamia had giant serpent-like beasts. Mesoamerican civilizations worshipped feathered serpents. Different continents, different civilizations, thousands of years of history, yet somehow giant reptilian monsters kept appearing. And then people started digging up enormous bones. Bones they couldn't possibly explain. So here's the question. Did civilizations around the world really invent similar monsters by coincidence? Or did our ancestors see something that no longer exists? To us, dragons are fantasy, but ancient civilizations didn't always treat them that way. Dragons appeared in religious stories, royal symbols, ancient artwork. Some were protectors, others were monsters. Some controlled rivers and rain. And these stories survived for thousands of years. So where did they come from? Maybe ancient people weren't inventing monsters from nothing, but eventually they started finding bones. Imagine digging into the earth thousands of years ago and finding gigantic bones. Massive skulls belonging to an animal you have never seen. In China, some fossil remains even became known as dragon bones. People were literally pulling the remains of enormous extinct animals from the ground in a culture already filled with stories about dragons. Coincidence? Maybe. But bones weren't the only thing people claimed to have found. More than 2,400 years ago, the Greek historian Herodotus wrote about something strange near Egypt: flying serpents. And according to Herodotus, he went looking for them himself. He traveled to a place where he was told these creatures appeared, and there he described seeing piles of bones. He wrote of serpent-like creatures with wings resembling those of a bat. What exactly did Herodotus see? We don't know, but this account was written more than 2,000 years ago, long before dinosaurs, before modern paleontology, and yet people were already telling stories about creatures that sound like dragons. What did he see? What were dragons? We have ancient stories, ancient artwork, mysterious fossils once called dragon bones, and an ancient historian writing about winged serpents and claiming he'd seen their remains. None of this proves dragons existed, but maybe that's not the most interesting question. The real question is, where did the first story come from? Maybe someone uncovered enormous bones. Maybe they encountered an animal we've since forgotten. Maybe the stories travelled further than we realise. Or maybe humans around the world ran into the same monster. We may never know, but somewhere, thousands of years ago, someone told a story about a giant reptilian creature, and that story survived across civilizations, across oceans, across thousands of years, until eventually it reached us.